It was one of those calm winter mornings when the fog embraces the earth and everything seems to move more slowly, softly, and drowsily. For what seemed like the 100th time, Ravi checked his watch while sitting on the chilly metal seat at the train station. 10 minutes had already passed since the 7:15 train to Mumbai left. His heart pounded impatiently. This train was no ordinary one. He was expected to attend the most important gathering of his life. After years of working his way up from an accountant in a small town, he was eventually given the opportunity to oversee a whole branch. Everything may change with only one meeting and one presentation. He continued to grumble to himself. Why was the station bustling with drowsy pandemonium today of all days? Children jogging with school bags, tea merchants, and a beggar singing an outdated tune that no one was listening to. He was annoyed by everything. Technical difficulties caused train number 2422 to Mumbai to be delayed by an additional 30 minutes when the announcement was made. Ravi leaped to his feet in exasperation. He kicked a tiny rock across the platform and slammed his suitcase shut. Half an hour. That's all. I'm done, he complained. I'm going to lose my job. I'll lose everything. His wife had left him a message on his buzzing phone. Best of luck, Ravi. Never forget to try your hardest no matter what. He didn't respond at all. Panic had already taken over his thoughts. He hoped the train would emerge out of nowhere as he gazed down the tracks. However, the rails vanished into the white due to the dense fog. Something within him exploded when the wait grew to an hour. He made the decision to exit the station. I'll look for a bus. I can't just do nothing while I sit here. Muttering curses about his bad luck and how everything always seemed to go wrong for him, he snatched up his suitcase and rushed to the exit. However, an elderly man seated behind the tea shop said, "Going somewhere in a hurry," as he arrived at the entrance. "Son." Impatient, Ravi paused for a moment. "Yes, sir. I'm running late. Once more, my train is delayed. I have a crucial meeting." The elderly man grinned as he slowly stirred his tea. Trains? Don't they have their own plans? Ravi scowled. Preparations? It's simply bad luck. The elderly man gave a nod. Perhaps. Or perhaps it serves as protection. Sometimes you are saved by what doesn't come. Ravi chuckled half-heartedly. For those who have time to waste, that is a good line. I don't, the man remarked softly as he turned to go. Then, before you go after fate, at least have some tea. Today is chilly. Ravi was stopped by something in that voice. After hesitating and letting out a sigh, he sat next to the man. They sipped their steaming tea together in silence while observing the fog swirl like sluggish smoke. They didn't say much. Then, abruptly, a loud noise in the distance pierced the stillness. The ground shook with a loud thud and a low rumble. People began yelling. While some froze in bewilderment, others ran for the tracks. Both Ravi and the elderly guy got to their feet. In a matter of minutes, the speakers began to crackle. Passengers, take note. On the route close to Sector 12, there's been an accident. The Mumbai Express 715 has gone down. There are rescue efforts underway. Ravi's body froze as he gazed at the tracks blanketed in fog. The same ones he'd been glaring at with rage only moments before. His legs began to shake, with his hands trembling over the now-empty teacup. He sat back down onto the bench in silence. You see, son, sometimes a train that never comes isn't your loss. It's your blessing, the elderly man replied, giving him a somber glance. Ravi was speechless. Everything was replayed in his thoughts. His life had just been spared by his rage, impatience, curses, and the delay he detested so much. His eyes softened as he turned back to face the elderly guy. "Thank you," he said in a whisper. The man gave a soft smile. "Don't give me credit. I appreciate the wait. After learning that about half of the passengers on that train did not survive when the fog cleared and the rescue reports arrived hours later, Ravi spent the entire day sitting beneath the same bench contemplating fate, control, and the vulnerability of timing. When he eventually made it home that evening, his wife answered the door and let out a sigh of relief. "Ravi, God, oh God, the accident was reported to me." Without a word, he just gave her a strong hug. He was unwilling to discuss it. All he wanted was to feel as though he was still present. In the days that followed, He underwent a transformation. When he didn't get his way, he stopped whining. He ceased shouting in traffic, losing his temper at holdups, and believing that life was waiting for him at the right moment. Perhaps life's pauses weren't punishments, he understood. Perhaps they served as silent defenses. A few months later, Ravi was given a second opportunity at a new firm, city, and start. He performed well because he had a new perspective, not because he put in more effort. Every time he faced a delay or setback, he would remember that morning, the fog, the tea, the elderly man, and the train that never came. When his friends grumbled about the timing of life, he would frequently tell them this story. He would add, "We always curse what doesn't happen, but maybe what didn't happen wasn't meant to." Perhaps it's life's way of telling you, this time, no, you're not prepared. Or perhaps you're not cut out for this path. Years later, on another foggy morning, Ravi found himself again at a railway station. This time, he was older, more composed, and wiser when he noticed a young child sitting on a bench, tapping his foot impatiently in frustration. Once more, the train was delayed. Ravi smiled and walked over, saying quietly, "Sometimes what doesn't arrive saves you." He gave the youngster a cup of tea. The youngster appeared exactly as perplexed as before. But since that's how life is, Ravi knew that eventually he would comprehend. We don't always get what we want when we want it from it. However, it always provides us with what we require at the precise moment. And occasionally, the best present of all was the train that never arrived.